Alright, so today I'm going to give you a persuasive speech on how attending a smaller university is better for you. And for this speech and presentation, I'm going to use Monroe's motivated sequence. Alright, so for the first part of Monroe's motivated sequence is attention. So I want you guys to imagine sitting in your college class and you're just another number to your professor, just like one of the hundreds sitting in the room listening to them lecture. But with attending a smaller university, you would be just another person to your professor. You wouldn't be just another person to your professor. You'd be known, and you'd be able to be helped whenever you need it. So the second part of Monroe's motivated sequence would be to establish the need. If you are attending a larger university, then you will have larger classes. Professors might not always teach your classes. It could be teacher's assistants, which could be bad because they are most likely not going to know as much as an actual professor would. So you'd be losing out on information about different topics. Your work won't be evaluated carefully. At larger universities, professors do look over students' work, but since there are way more students, like hundreds compared to the 20s and 30s in a normal class at a smaller university, then they're just going to look over it and grade your work, not like give you feedback or tell you what you can improve on, and even like write little notes on it or email you about it or whatever it may be. You will write less papers at a larger university. This could be a good or bad thing depending on how you are or what type of person you are. For me, I don't really like writing papers, but it is good to write more papers because it makes you have the experience which you're going to need later on in life. You're not going to have one-on-one contact with your professor if you're at a larger university. This is very important because I know at my university, a lot of professors stay after when they're done teaching a few hours just to sit in their office for office hours, which means you can either make an appointment with them or you can just drop in and talk to them about something. And this really helps because if you're having an issue in the class or you need help on a certain assignment, you can just go in, talk to your professor, they'll sit down and help you out, tell you what you need to improve on, etc. And so that's really good. You won't have that at a larger university. And another thing, you probably won't feel like you count at all. With there being upwards of 30,000-40,000 people at a larger university, you're just one out of those 30,000-40,000 people. So it's not gonna make you feel like you're an important role at that university. So these are all some big problems that occur when you go to larger universities. So next, in Monroe's motivation sequence, I'm going to talk about satisfaction. As a college student that attends a small university, like I said before, I can actually say that I do have smaller classes. I think the biggest class I've had, I'm going into my junior year, and the biggest class that I probably had was upwards of 35 to 40 people, which isn't that big at all, actually. I don't have any teacher's assistants teaching my classes, it's just all professors. My work is carefully looked at. Numerous times I've gotten either emails or when I get work passed back in class, it has like little messages on it or what I can do better, and like when they grade it, they don't just exit out or check it up, they just like write little messages next to anything that I did wrong or how I did it wrong or what I could do to improve it. Whenever there's an issue, I can go talk to my professor like I said before. I just use drop-in hours or schedule an appointment with them. This is very important because sometimes you are going to struggle in a class and you're going to need help. And if you're at a smaller university, and I can vouch for this myself, you just email your professor, say, hey, I'm not doing so hot right now on this particular topic, I need some help, can I drop in by your office? And they'll be all for that. So that's really good. And then also on my campus, I actually know quite a bit of people, and I don't really feel like a stranger. This is important to me because you don't want to go to a university where you feel like you're just another person. You can join like different social groups. Like I'm actually in a fraternity, so that helps me know like a lot more people. And then also just becoming friends with people in your classes. Like there's not really a time where I walk around campus and I don't recognize somebody. So I think that's pretty cool. And I have a quote from one of my sources. It's going to be from College Size, Small, Medium, or Large, from College Data, I retrieved on June 29th, 2017. And the quote is going to be, knowing whether you feel more comfortable as a small fish in a big pond or a big fish in a small pond can help you with your decision. And that decision is talking about whether you want to go to a bigger university or a smaller university. This is just important because you don't want to feel like weirded out when you're there or left out at anything. So I like that quote a lot. So the next step would be visualization in Monroe's motivation sequence. So the different outcomes, just to reiterate on everything, the different outcomes from a smaller university would be doing better in your classes because you have professors to help you. It's easier to pay attention. There's less people in it, so you don't have to worry about other people talking. Your professor can look at your work and know you did it wrong, and many more things like that. Well, I've said this before, but it's just to reiterate on it and to make it known in your mind that this is what happens at a smaller university. In a bigger university, just to go through some things again, you'll have poor grades, you won't know your professor, you won't receive much help from your professor. It's difficult to pay attention because there's a lot more people in the class. You feel like you're just another number and you won't get feedback on your work. Getting feedback on your work is probably the most important, and being able to talk to your professor, just because that's what's going to help you like in your class the most. So the last step in Monroe's motivation sequence is action. So now I want you guys to imagine yourself at a smaller university and a bigger university. Keep everything in mind of what was said earlier on in this presentation. Do you want to do better in classes, know a professor, and feel more than just a number? Then you need to go to a smaller university. I love attending my smaller university because I feel like I'm way more successful than I would be at a bigger university. And yeah, that's why I think attending a smaller university is better than a bigger university.